Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, Alhamdulillah, we're here again in the figuring out life. Sorry, figuring out life, right? I'm still getting the hang of having a new title with the team of Mahdina Forum here as usual, but I know there's a new face today. We're gonna get to know her. And as usual, with me is Mahdina Wadda, some of you call me Anggita,
And me, Pamita Wijayanti, and I'm a college student. I'm really excited to discuss about our
topic for today.
topic for today. Yeah.
Okay, and me, Vida Mafiza, and people usually call me Vida. And also, I'm so excited to discuss the topic today.
And me, Harina Sraini, you can call me Harina. I'm currently fourth semester management student, and I'm doing a small business.
Yeah. You can talk a little bit about your business.
Maybe you can check our Instagram at university.official.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're gonna put it on the caption. So it's exciting with all of these college students and me. And of course, Sofa is also here. Is everything working fine, Sofa? Yeah, with the audio and everything. Yeah, just making sure. Yeah, so today's topic is going to be identifying emotions. I think it's going to be interesting talking about emotions, right? Because this is one of the psychological aspects that is happening within ourselves. And why did we come up with the topic? Because talking about emotions is like a never-ending discussion. Because each and every day, we always identify our mood, our feelings, like the success of the day usually is based on our emotions. Like maybe some of us like basing on productivities or values, but like I'm happy today. Like I feel something, I feel something, I feel something. So everything that is referring to our feelings, usually it's emotion. So let's find out what is emotion. And I think what fascinates me about emotion is like the emotion can be the same, but the way people express it is can be quite different even in the exact situations. For example, if you're sad, all of us are sad listening hearing about some news about something, and then I can be sad because I am highly related with the situations. Secondly, you can be sad because like you feel that you're failing other people because of the situations. You can be sad because you're not part of the journey, let's say, but like the emotion is sad, but the reasoning behind it. Before we go to like our experiences, and hopefully you are also tuning in, please put in the comments about what is emotion to you and how you identify emotion, so we can have a very fun and active discussion. So guys, what is emotion? As usual, we need to define it before we discuss about it, please.
Okay, so I think for me, what I know and what I'm while I'm doing the research for that, I think emotion is thoughts, feelings, and behavioral responses, and a degree of pleasure or displeasure. So, and also emotion often to influence our condition. So we know every day we feel emotions, but rarely there is time that we can control that emotion or the emotion control ourselves. So I think that's like the general definition or the general meaning of emotions that I know.
And controlling emotion is about managing emotion. We're gonna have a separate discussion about that because like it's going to be more complex than identifying emotion. That's why we're gonna talk about it. Hopefully next week. Okay, what is emotion to you guys?
So for me, emotion is a complex feeling of consciousness, sensations, and behavior reflecting the personal significance of a thing, events, or and situations. Like whenever we feel something, it will based on the situation that we face and the event that we face, also the things that we face every day. So like let's say we are in the event that have like certain vibes of
Yeah, atmosphere,
environments,
huh?
atmosphere, then it give us like the feedbacks of that kind of atmosphere as well. So yeah, I think that's that's how it is can describe emotions.
Yeah, for me, emotion is something that we feel. It just within ourselves that no one can see and no one can feel that we feel.
Yeah. I think underlining about that no one can see it. Like the only one who felt it is us.
Yeah.
But talking about atmosphere, about things and events and everything, I think aside from hopefully from this you get the gist about what emotion is, because each and every one of us knows what emotion is, like feel what emotion is, but when it is described into a sentence, um, it can be kind of confusing, but like hopefully our definition helps. Or probably from me, like emotion is like an instinctive or intuitive feeling that as distinguished or differentiated from reasoning or knowledge. So usually the opposite of emotion is logic. So someone who is emotional usually are not very logical. Someone who is logical usually is not emotional. That is a very conventional way of like prototyping people. But I think nowadays there is a growth of perception about emotion itself and how we can actually also use it to help us to develop ourselves better. Okay, so do we recognize emotions? Do we like we when we're being angry, like beforehand when we're about to let out our burst of emotions, like before we yell, hopefully nobody being angry and yelling at other people, or happy, like let's use a positive emotion, okay? When we're being happy, before we like jump around happiness probably, or laughing, or like expressing our happiness, can we identify it, or whether when it is happening then we recognize, oh, I'm happy? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I do recognize my emotions also, like because I'm kind of emotional person as well. So yeah, I think recognizing our emotion is like a simple thing actually, but not everyone can do it. Like, and aside from that, I think everyone that recognize their own emotion is kind of having this kind of like a more control self-control about their emotions, but uh, at a certain situation they can burn like what
Yeah,
it's like
accumulated
yeah
into something big.
yeah. And also for me, recognizing our emotion is like the important thing to identify our emotion as well. So yeah, like if we recognize our emotion before it happens, it also can like we it also means that we can identify it as like,
Uh-huh.
oh, this feeling is the happy feelings. And in my experience as well, whenever I feel sad or I feel um, angry, I recognize it beforehand. So like before I feel it, I already recognize it. Like, oh, if with this situation, I think I will be sad. And if we talk about this situation, I think I will be happy. I always have that kind of thought. So yeah, because
So
I
it's in theory, sorry. So
yeah
it's in theory. So if someone pass away, I'm gonna be sad. If I
yeah
get good grades, I'm gonna be happy.
yeah.
But like in the exact moment when you felt that happiness, do you like when it's about to surge? Is it like, okay, I'm gonna be happy?
No.
And I know it doesn't happen that way, but like
Yeah, I think if it's like in that moment I feel that happiness, I think I recognize it like right away.
yeah.
Like like after the let's say it's like there's the news comes out about, but it's a happy news. I will be like, what and I will be really excited about that. And I think I will tell everyone that I'm happy because that kind of emotion like happens to me as well. So yeah, I think identifying our emotions and recognize it before we identify it is like something like
Yeah, yeah.
correlated.
I mean, it's possible, but we don't like every day. I'm gonna be happy and then happy. It's
Yeah.
not like that. I just want to like put on more details on our discussion, but basically, um, like letting out our emotions comes naturally in our life. Like, what about you guys?
Yeah, I think so because I think we do identify ourselves, but we don't really identify our emotions, but we don't really understand that emotion that happen within us. Like because everything happened very fast. We don't like oh we're happy or we're sad. Like it just we feel it naturally. But so I think it's not. We can identify, but I think we don't really understand because, like you said before, I think it's when we feel happy. I think it's not just being happy, but there's some kinds of emotion that
Yeah.
pile up into that happiness. I
Uh-huh.
think that's how I identify.
Yeah.
What about
Yeah, for me, maybe we sometimes we do recognize and sometimes we didn't recognize our emotions. Like right now, I'm talking. Maybe I'm very nervous, and so I'm happy, I'm excited, and sometimes I feel sad because I realize that my English is not good. Maybe, yeah. So I think identify emotion is very very important.
Yeah, 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 and like, to touch base on the importance of understanding emotion itself, because like, um, if we don't actually identify it, then it's going to rule like a big part of our life. So we don't want that. It's not always bad, but we don't want that to happen, right? Because like if we are being ruled by emotions, then we tend to only do the things that will give us like an easy emotion that's not always positive, right? And I think like highlighting about what Pida said, actually, although we know emotion, while in English there are many terminologies, many words to express or to explain about certain emotions, but actually the shades of emotion, I think it's very complex, like the layers or the level of happiness. Like although we have the same emotion, like happy or sad or angry or mad or like devastated, but like the level of those emotions are quite different, right? And I think identifying not only the emotion itself, but like the level of emotion, and then we can actually, from there, we can actually manage that emotion. And how it's not, I think we're not only identifying emotions, but also we need to, like I said, like understand the level of our emotions. Like when we are interacting with our siblings, we tend hope you guys listening to this and who have siblings can have the share of the field of experience as us. Like we tend to like a couple of levels more on both positive and negative. And we tend to be more negative on negative emotions more than other people. So if other people, let's say, like took something from us or like borrow something, then we can okay, you can use it. But when it's our siblings or when it's our sister or our brother, it's like, who said you can use it? Why didn't you ask for permission? Blah 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 and everything. And it is like the expression of our emotions because like the level are different, and due to the attachments, I think like the level of emotion is also related, highly related with the attachment that we have to someone or something. So if we lose a pen, a regular pen, we tend to be, where is it? It's like this. There's this emotion of confusion, like, but probably not really sad about it. Like probably annoyed because like I can't find my pen. But if it's something we treasure, something precious to us, then it can be like for days. I can't believe I can't believe I lose this. How on earth? Why am I so clumsy? Blah 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 and everything. And it expresses into regrets and everything. So let's talk about identifying like the emotion itself and what triggers the emotion, like the reason behind that emotions, and also the expression of emotions itself. Like I said this a lot of times, I think different generations express emotions in a different way. So when I ask them, "Are you guys excited?" and then like, "We're excited, ka," but like it's like you don't look like you're excited. Like we have different different expressions of emotions. I think we can talk about how we identify these things, right? It's not just like emotion knowing we're happy, we're sad, uh, we're nervous and everything, but also like what triggers our emotions and how do we express those emotions, right? Do you have any kind of experiences or anything?
Yeah, I think for the attachment itself, I experienced like some of the things that happened to me when I'm not really the person that sharing my emotions or sharing my experience to others. So I tend to like keep it up to myself. Just like when I tired, I just keep it to myself, and then sometimes it pile up, and then sometimes it bursts out when I don't know
A
the
small
time.
thing happened.
Yeah, small things happen and then it bursts out, and I tend to like crying or feeling sad for no reason. So I think that's one of my experience for that unwanted experience and unwanted emotions and also unused emotions. I think that's how the attachment of the things that I don't want to talk to other people. I think it influenced my emotions more.
Yeah. So I think taking out, but I think we're gonna talk about it in managing emotion.
Mm.
Like I think it's highly important about how we express our emotion, how we let out our emotions, or like because emotion itself is an energy that needs to be used. Like basically like electricity to light. So if we have this amount of electricity and we don't use it for anything, and then somehow when it piles up and it doesn't have like something to let it out or something to be used, then it's going to be too full in its space and it can cause a lot of things, right? I think that also applies to emotion. We're gonna talk about it also, yeah. But like Frida said, so we need to be very attentive about how we express emotions, right? Identify because like in a certain situations, it's not gonna be very healthy for us mentally if it piled up. Those emotions piled up in a way that we don't know how to manage it, right? Okay. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah, you can also talk about unwanted emotions or anything.
I think it depends on when we
Ah.
should like express our emotions, like because whenever we are in this kind of events, like the serious and formal events, we
Mm-hmm.
rarely like expressing our emotion. I once went to like a big seminar about mining that I talked in previous episode also. So uh, when I saw a lot of people there, they're not really like express their emotion. It's like they just have this kind of poker face, and I was like,
Yeah, of course, it's a seminar.
yeah, I was like, no, like they're discussing, but
Oh, okay,
yeah, they're
okay.
discussing, but I don't. Is this is discussing this is really
Is this interesting?
yeah interesting, but why not everyone like being excited about that?
Now you
And
can
also,
relate with me, right?
yeah, I was like, why they are so they really don't have that emotion, like they don't like express it, and I was like, I was wondering, is it really interesting for them, or why they just look like this, and etc. But in a way that in my campus, in my college, whenever I discuss about something, like my friends give a lot of expressions, like a lot of emotion. They give like no, and the excitement. I can feel the excitement, the happy situations, and like the eager to win the discussion
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, that kind of emotion like happen in depends on the situation or the event, I think,
Mhm.
how they express it. And so if they discuss about something in a certain formal situation, I think
Yeah.
they won't like express themselves really
Mhm.
like
Really
really,
express it.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think like how we express also comes out doesn't have to be in a way like um, the expression, it doesn't have to be grand, it doesn't have to be big, like um, using proper body languages and then the intonation and then the pitch of our voices also conveys our emotion, right? But also I think taking from what you said, like the environment where we grew up, I think it also affects if we are. That's why I like cultural background, like where we came from. Although we like born and raised in Jakarta, but probably we have this cultural, like our parents, like probably like Javanese is more polite, very subtle and everything. We from Sumatra is more outspoken, more expressive in their emotions and everything. I think it also affects how we like our how we familiarize ourselves with emotions and how to express it. So yeah, what about you guys? How do you express your emotions? Like, and sometimes when it is part of our habit, so we're not bottling it up. It's just the way it became a natural course of action where we, yeah, it's okay to like repress this kind of emotion. So it's not repressing. It's quite different when we are like forced by the situation, when we want to state our opinion, when we want to disagree about something, but we don't have enough courage because of the situation, like a very serious formal situation, or it's a new event that we never experienced before. So, and that bottles up like the things that we want to let out, but we cannot. Probably, yeah. Okay. Any other
Yeah.
yeah, examples probably, huh?
For me, I have experienced that unwanted, unwanted emotion. That is my fear. I think my fear is uh, my problem emotion. It's not unwanted emotion, but it's my problem emotion because feeling fear it makes change my life. Like me being insecure uh, and then I'm losing many opportunities and then didn't confidence to try something new and yeah, and for example, like me seeing a cockroach and I choose to go and call someone to exterminate it or kill it, even though I should be able to do it by myself. Like that.
Yeah, but maybe the viewers, that's okay. You can be afraid of cockroach. That's fine. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Maybe you and agree or disagree. Should Harina overcome her fear of cockroach or not? Right. Yeah. But sometimes, like, I think it's a good thing that you recognize the fear itself. That it can be, like in the pre-discussion, you also said that like fear of one thing is the same with fear to other things, and that you're probably worried that if you continue to be fearful of something, to bugs or cockroaches to be specific, then you will be continue to like keeping all the fears to other things that will support your development. Yeah, I think it's a good thing that you can identify like unproductive emotions within ourselves, because like the point of identifying emotion itself is for us to be able to optimize how we develop ourselves or to be a better person, right? So that's why we are figuring out what is happening in our life right now, like figuring out this emotion actually. And actually, for me, I think we also need to. I think the way we express emotions can also be seen easily or identified easily by our body language, like our physical being. For me, when I'm nervous, I tend to like kind of choke up. So probably like I cough a lot, and then um, yeah, I feel uncomfortable, and then but that's why I tend to not be nervous. I just relax myself, whatever the situation is. But sometimes it happens whether we want it or not, right? And also a lot of times when I'm talking about other people, gossiping, especially about bad things, I felt that my face is giving this like um, ugly facial expression, and I see it in other people. No matter how pretty and beautiful they are, when they are talking about bad things, it gives this bad vibe in their face, like the tightness, and then the like the way their eyes move, and then the way
They frown.
yeah, they frown and everything. And especially when we are angry, of course, we have this tightness in everywhere, like the whole body is like tight, and we feel like very uncomfortable because we feel that we want to punch someone. Anyone. No, we feel that we need to like the anger is taking over our body, that we sometimes people can be hostile and everything. That's why we need to know about how to manage emotions and controlling them for that not to happen. So I think from facial expression, oh, and also heartbeat. If it beats faster, like if you're nervous and everything, even when we're happy, like there's a change in our like breathing rhythm, right? And also, yeah, other physical states that can be the identifier of our emotions. So, like, I feel when I'm gossiping about other people, I think this is not a good thing to talk about because, like, I feel like I'm getting uglier inside out. So, I don't want to be ugly in that sense, right? So, yeah, I think so. I think we're coming to the end of our discussion. Probably other things that we want to discuss. Oh, um, do you do you know or do you have an experience of unused emotions?
I don't think I have any because I think I feel too much. So it's rather than unused emotion, it's like overused emotion. It's like over fear and over sad about something.
Yeah,
I
I
think
know, I
yeah.
know.
So I don't think I have an unused emotion.
I think I don't know. I don't really think about that because, like I said before, I don't
Mhm.
really like understand and really feeling my emotions. So I think I don't really experience that one. But I don't know. I
Mhm.
think
Yeah, this
experienced
is a
that.
this is a very rare thing. Knowing about unused emotions,
Yeah.
I think. What about you, Han?
Yeah, I think everyone didn't. Everyone always use emotion, even though silent. They always use emotion. Like when I'm teaching smart, they're one of them, a quiet person, and
Mm-mm.
I want to identify her emotion. I always ask her like, "Are you happy right now?" Because we are playing with the ball and something, and then if she's silent, I know maybe she's not happy, and I ask her again, "Are you happy? A little bit happy, or a small happy, or big happy?" And she said, "Small happy."
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think unused emotions. I think starting from what? I think when I was 25, 18, about 25 probably. Like I tend to start recognizing unused emotions. So every time I get this new project, I have this um like this piled up energy. So I tend to want to like I need to move. Like I have this like unused energy that I felt within myself, which um, I learned to let it out little by little as I worked on my projects. So like yeah, and then I consume it little by little. I use it little by little about emotions instead of like letting it out. I'm depending on the person who knows me, whether I'm close or not. I'm not very. I'm expressive, but not very expressive. That's how complex human are because you cannot say. It's not always people that are very expressive with their emotions actually has big emotions, but they have big expressions. And people who has like Harina case is like having doesn't have like big emotion expressions of emotions. It doesn't mean they have big emotions like have this layers this like energy or like a bottle up emotions that they need to let out. So it it doesn't always aligns like uh, how the condition on the inside on the outside. But we're gonna talk about it about when we're talking about managing emotions. But I think throughout our discussion, what we're talking about, hopefully you can understand about how complex emotion is, and it's not to overwhelm us or scared us, giving emotion to emotions, or scaring us into delving or understanding about emotion itself, but it's in a way to explore, like have a new adventure in our life. Like, oh, then turns out I have this level of happiness. Turns out I have this level of sadness, level of nervousness. Like the level of nervousness that is needed for public speaking, it is also an emotion that we can use to better our public speaking, but there is also a level of nervousness that can hindrance us in speaking better or speaking in the context that we want to deliver. So that's what we're going to talk about next week, right? So yeah, so it's exciting, and hopefully from this discussion you can also like look back into your experience of what triggers your emotion and how you express your emotion and the emotion itself. What is the biggest trigger of your emotion? What triggers you or what stimulates you to that, like it can be in duration, like you quickly feel something, or secondly, give the highest level of emotions that you've ever experienced.
I think for me it's the attachment that you're talking.
Huh?
That when I talk to my family and when I talk to my friends, it's different. So the things that trigger me, it's also different. So when me and my friends, I'm talking, and maybe there's the things that I don't really fit into, I tend to like take back and not really complaining about it. I just accept that. But when me and my family, I tend to like, why is it like this? I don't like this and everything, because I feel that there's more attachment between me and my family, and they understand my emotions more. I think that's how I trigger something. Because also when maybe you also guys experience this, that maybe we're saying happy birthday to the people that we don't know. It's like, okay, happy birthday, I hope you best wishes and everything. But if we saying it to like our closest friends or our family, it would be more sincere, like that. So I think,
Meaningful, right?
yeah, the meaningful. So I think that's the attachment that really the base of my emotions that I feel.
Yeah, yeah. So the closer the attachment is, give you a higher emotion responses, right? What about you guys? What triggers what stimulates highest stimulation or trigger for your emotion?
I never really thought about it, but I think for when I make a decisions about something, I feel a lot of emotions, like a confusion, also like a panic. I tend to be panicked when someone said to me like, "You decide." I was like, "I decide." I was like that. Me? ask me to decide it, I always start to like that, and it's like a more complicated, I think, for me. Whenever people told me to make this kind of decisions about anything, I was like, you ask me, because it's like, yeah, it's more complicated than
Yeah, yeah,
thought,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I feel a lot of emotions there. So I think, yeah, whenever I make decisions, I
Uh-huh.
think it kind of triggers
When
me.
you feel that what you need to do impacting more people than just you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you, the fate of other people is in your hands.
yeah, yeah. The people that you lead, it depends on yours. Like,
That's why you need to exercise it.
oh, okay. I was like, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, and then Harina, what about you?
What is stimulate
Yeah,
me?
what is the biggest stimulation for your emotion, or like what is the stimulation that give you like the biggest emotion that you ever experienced?
Because I think it's my fear. The biggest stimulate that my emotion is my fear. It's, yeah, like I said before, it's making me change my life, and actually I want to change my habit to be a brave person again, and to try something new, like join uh, competition, more
Mhm.
competition, and something like that.
Yeah. Actually, although she's behind the scene, but I'm curious about her because she's not very expressive. So, what is the biggest trigger for her? What stimulates you, like having bigger emotions? No, she doesn't want to answer. Like nothing, nothing. Like yeah, nothing triggers her emotion. Okay, so last words on our discussion. Any tips? Any like things that you want to share about this emotion, identifying emotion?
I think the first thing, if you want to identify your own emotion, is like ask and evaluate yourself each and every day. It's like, and whenever you feel something, ask yourself, what is this feeling? Also, like learning about emotion itself and how to handle it based on your experience and other people experience as well. Also, like ask so many questions about everything that happens in your life, also in your own emotions, like each and every day. I think it like it
It
helps.
helps. Mm-hmm.
I think for me, it's important to know like the causes of the emotions that
Mm-hmm.
you feel, like what is the cause, and then when you feel that emotions and how it affects our activities. And also maybe I'm not tired to like promoting the journaling kit, so you
Yeah.
can make like there's this thing called mood tracker, so you can like checklist the emotion that you feel that day, and then you compile it for a month, and then you can like evaluate whether this month is like the happy month or a sad month or everything, or it's a roller coaster. I think it's very good to identify and to do the evaluate of your emotions. I think
Yeah,
that's
I
my
think better than
recommendation.
checklist, maybe like drawing it with
Yeah,
color that is,
depending on
yeah,
your
depending on your
the
Preference.
type
own
of person you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Vida and Pamita, because like I think we have to ask ourselves that what am I feeling like, uh, sometimes, because sometimes we don't know that we feel, sometimes we just busy with our activities, and we don't realize that our emotions. So yeah, like me right now, I'm very nervous. So yeah, how to after that we can overcome it, uh, our
Yeah,
emotion.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So for those of you who, after this long discussion, and hopefully you're still tuning in, still not get it. Like I think I'm fine with identifying my emotions. So like, maybe you can think about what makes you tired, what makes you uncomfortable, what makes you, like annoyed, what makes you complain in life, And if it continues to happen day in and day out, I think it's not a good way of living, right? Like, it's okay to complain and everything, but if you are in a certain kind of situations because interacting with youth and everything and doing consultations, I think the amount of energy that you put in when you go to school, and then like after school, like you don't have any energy to do anything else, or you have a packed schedule that your whole day is full with activities, that you don't even have time to recognize your emotion, and at some point you're not enjoying, you're not, it doesn't have to be happy all the time, but you feel awkward and uncomfortable with yourself. So I think for me and for us, I think that's not a good condition to be in. And to get out of that condition, we need to change something. And to change that, we need to identify first what is actually happening in our life. That's why we're talking about purpose, we're talking about emotion, we're talking about failures, we're talking about happiness, we're talking about things to figure out how is best suited for each and every one of us to live our life. So that's why we are figuring out life right now. So look on that. If you have those situations, then I think we can figure out how to identify our emotion first, and then next we're gonna discuss about how we manage our emotions. We don't have to get it right the first time around, right? But at least we are aware of that, and we can be calm. We can be level-headed when we are pushed into situations that probably kind of not good for us, like being depressed, being like letting out all this pent up emotion and everything, because a lot of cases, maybe kind of overrated cases about that, but we're gonna talk about that next week. So please join us again because it's going to be exciting talking about the cause of emotion itself, the type of emotions, and then the expression of emotions and how we manage it. We use it, and then to change, what are the things that we can change to actually manage our emotions, or not giving way or giving portions to negative emotions, but turn it into positive emotions. Like, it's going to be interesting, right? Because like we want to know how to do that. That's why we discuss, we do a bit of research, at least start the conversation about it. Okay, so that's it, I think, for today. Thank you. This is such a fun discussion, and hopefully, we will have many new faces like Harina, and hopefully Harina will join us again later on.
Yes.
Although she's nervous, but she's doing fine, right? So for those of you who want to exercise your English, want to talk about topic about how we figure out things in our life, please don't hesitate to join us, because we have a very diverse level of English. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? And we have different type of segments. Um, there's going to be English discussion forum, that has a more youth topic. We haven't come up with the title yet, hopefully soon. And second is also like, all guys, the topic is on self development. It's called Better Steps, like everyday steps to better your life. So it's like, it's interesting. It's interesting, right? The title itself, it's interesting. So please tune in, and be sure to check out our all of our shows. Hey. Okay, and write in the comments about the things that you want to be, or if you want to be here with us, or probably through Zoom or other facilities online, then you can DM us on our socials in Instagram at Mahdina Forum, right? Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully you have a good day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.